My daughter-in-law called us poor and made me her maid, so I pulled the contract, bankrupted them, and took the baby she abandoned. I only prepared enough food for my family. What do you mean by that? Even though I was invited to the dinner, there was only an empty plate in front of me. Don't get me wrong, but I never intended to become family with poor people like you. I just wanted to make that clear today. My daughter-in-law looked at me with a sneer as I stood there, speechless. It seemed like this was her way of harassing us. Michelle's attitude was condescending. I had known since the first time we met that she looked down on us quite a bit. You should be grateful that I even married your son. John may have a good face, but he's a boring man. Well, he's a decent husband, so I won't divorce him. Unable to argue any further, I decided to leave as she instructed. But I wasn't going to stay silent about this. Hello, it's me. I made a call to someone who could bring her to despair. My name is Kim. After my parents passed away, I took over the family business and now run a small factory. Running the company hasn't always been smooth, and we faced financial difficulties at times. But with the help of my accountant, Robert, we've worked hard together to overcome challenges and grow the business. My husband and I have one son named John. We told John he didn't have to take over the family business, so after graduating from college, he joined a regular company and has been successful. One day, John called to tell us he got engaged to the daughter of the company president where he works. I want to have a dinner to introduce you to her. She's a really nice girl, and I'm sure you'll both like her. John sounded genuinely happy on the phone. Robert and I were also looking forward to meeting John's girlfriend. Since the dinner was to be held near our home, we decided to splurge and reserved a table at a high-end restaurant. Finally, the day of the dinner arrived. Nice to meet you, I'm Michelle. The woman who bowed her head was petite and slender. As the daughter of a company president, she gave off a somewhat strong impression. Robert and I greeted her, and then we entered the reserved restaurant. The food served was delicious, and the dinner proceeded in a friendly atmosphere. According to John, his relationship with Michelle started when her father suggested it. I need to use the restroom for a moment. As the conversation flowed, Michelle excused herself from the table. You've caught quite a beauty. She seems like a good girl, and that's great, right? John smiled proudly. Seeing our son so happy made Robert and me smile as well. I'm going to the restroom too. I followed Michelle in the direction of the restroom. Just as I was about to enter, I heard someone talking on the phone. This is the worst. I dated him because he's handsome, but his parents look poor and unimpressive. It was Michelle's voice. Looks like these poor folks stretched themselves to reserve a fancy place. But their poor manners are obvious. It's embarrassing to be with them. It seemed she was complaining to a friend, mocking us poor folks. I guess she might see us that way as a president's daughter, but she didn't have to insult us like that. Angry, I quickly left the restroom and returned to our table. What's wrong? You look upset? Robert asked worriedly, noticing my inner turmoil. It's nothing. I'm just having so much fun that I might have drunk a bit too much. I might be tipsy. I brushed it off. Even though I had accidentally discovered Michelle's true nature, I couldn't bring myself to tell the blissfully happy John. Michelle returned to the table, smiling as if nothing had happened. Because of that, the dinner ended with me feeling uneasy. Everyone probably has one or two things they keep hidden. Although I didn't have a good impression of her, I decided not to tell John and kept it to myself. A little while later, John and Michelle got married. As the daughter of a company president, the hotel reception was large, with many guests. Congratulations, John and Michelle. With tears of joy, I offered my congratulations on my son's happy day. John looked so happy, but on this day, Michelle barely made eye contact with me or Robert. Even when I tried to talk to her, she seemed annoyed, making it clear she didn't like us because she thought we were poor. Did we do something to make her dislike us? Michelle's attitude seems pretty bad, Robert muttered in confusion after the ceremony when we got home. For the first time, I told my husband what I had overheard at the dinner. I can't believe she has such a side to her. We can't tell John he's so happy. Besides, she seems normal in front of him. We just have to keep quiet. That's probably best. But I hope nothing bad happens in the future. Robert's words were ominous, and his prediction came true. A few days later, as I was cleaning in front of the factory, I unexpectedly ran into Michelle. "Hello, it must be tough doing such dirty work." Her words seemed like a compliment, but knowing her true nature, I recognized the sarcasm. It was clear she looked down on us. I understood it was because of my appearance, but it didn't feel good. I brushed off Michelle's comments and hurried back to the office. Despite occasional irritation with Michelle's attitude, on the surface, John's family appeared peaceful. A few years after the wedding, Michelle became pregnant with their first child, and John seemed happy. Eventually, Michelle gave birth to a baby girl, but that marked the beginning of her increasingly outrageous behavior, which troubled me. "Well, Kim, please handle everything today. You're good at cleaning, right?" "I have a salon appointment." Summoned by Michelle as usual, I felt like her servant, being tasked with various chores, looking after my baby grandchild, cleaning their house, and running errands. Today was going to be another busy day. I sighed. "If you need any help, let me know." After Michelle gave birth, I had told her that out of kindness, hoping to help her with the unfamiliar task of childcare. But Michelle seemed to view my goodwill as nothing more than having a housekeeper she could conveniently use any time. Lately, Michelle started asking for financial help, claiming their household budget was tight. John's salary has decreased, and we had a baby, so things are tough. "Can you help us out a bit?" she pleaded, saying that having a child was expensive. "I see. I'll give you a little to help out, but does John know about this?" "Yes, of course. John told me to ask you for help." "Okay, I'll transfer it later. Thank you so much, Michelle." She thanked me in a rather carefree manner. For someone asking for financial aid, there seemed to be no guilt or shame in relying on others. She seemed quite accustomed to it. For better or worse, believing Michelle's words, I started transferring money to her account every month. The amount was small at first, but her demands gradually escalated, and now I was giving her about $1,000 a month. I didn't mind as long as the money was for my grandchild, but I didn't know how Michelle was actually using it. I continued the monthly transfers, wondering what she was spending the money on. As my grandchild's first birthday approached, I received a call from John about a dinner. "We're thinking of having a birthday dinner at our place and inviting Michelle's parents, too. How does that sound for you and Dad?" "Sure, we'd love to come. We're looking forward to it. By the way, John, is there anything you've been struggling with lately?" I asked John indirectly, wondering what could be causing Michelle's escalating financial demands. "Struggling?" "No, not really. Work is going well." "Oh, I just got promoted." "I see. That's good. Sorry for asking something weird." From John's words, it didn't seem like they were having financial troubles. It appeared that Michelle was the only one who knew about the financial support from us. My distrust toward Michelle grew even stronger. Then, on the day of my grandchild's first birthday party, I received a message from Michelle on my phone saying that the time had been moved up. Confused by the sudden change, even on the day itself, Robert and I hurried to our son and daughter-in-law's house. When we rang the doorbell, Michelle's voice answered, "Come on in." When we entered their house, it was oddly quiet, and I had a bad feeling. In the living room, Michelle was waiting alone. There was no sign of John or my grandchild. "Thank you for coming today. Please have a seat," Michelle said with a smile. But her eyes were not smiling. It was a cold, eerie smile. Feeling uneasy about the atmosphere, we sat down as she suggested. But I noticed something strange. The seats prepared for us at the dining table had only empty plates and glasses of tap water. Perhaps the meal would be prepared soon, however. Michelle showed no sign of that. Michelle's parents were supposed to be invited to today's dinner, but there was no sign of them either. Feeling more and more uncomfortable, we were puzzled. "Michelle, what is this about?" Robert asked cautiously, unable to grasp Michelle's true intentions. "Don't you get it yet?" "Oh, poor people like you wouldn't be able to imagine what I'm thinking. Actually, I only prepared food for my family." "What do you mean?" "Don't get me wrong, but I never intended to become family with poor people like you. I just wanted to make that clear today." Michelle's beautiful face twisted into a malicious grin. It seemed this was her way of harassing us. Is that how you really feel? You put on a good act in front of John. You should be grateful that I even married your son. John may have a good face, but he's a boring man. Well, he's a decent husband, so I won't divorce him. Michelle's attitude was condescending. I had known from overhearing her phone call at the first dinner that she looked down on us. It seemed she didn't want to get too familiar just because we were family by marriage. Despite her dislike for us, she often asked for rides and money in her daily life. I understand your feelings now. We thought we could help each other as family. But if that's not the case, we'll stop driving you for errands, taking care of your child, and transferring money. If she doesn't get along with us, so be it. If she stops involving us altogether, we can avoid any further unpleasantness. When I made this suggestion, her response was shockingly unreasonable. Don't decide that on your own. I need a housekeeper who can help me when it's convenient for me. So keep helping me and keep sending the money. What are you talking about? Do you realize how unreasonable you're being? I gave birth to your grandchild, didn't I? It's only natural for you to do that much. Michelle's argument was selfish and nonsensical. No matter how much you dislike us, we have the right to see our grandchild. We don't need a meal. Just let us see John and our grandchild. No way. You should be grateful I invited you at all. Drink that water and leave. I want to spend time with my family alone. What does John think about this? He'll be shocked if he finds out what you're doing. John is out shopping with our baby. I'll tell him you had to cancel at the last minute, so just go. Leave quickly. We have a family-only dinner in an hour, Michelle said with a malicious smile. She didn't bother to hide it. Robert and I were speechless at her outrageous behavior. We never had a good impression of her, but we didn't realize her personality was so twisted. Unable to argue any further, we left as we were told. I was having mixed feelings on the way home, and Robert murmured, "After all this, we can't just continue as usual." Yes, we tried to get along with her in our own way, but it seems impossible. Let's stop transferring money to her from now on. I had put up with being treated like a maid and sending money, thinking it was for her good, but I had reached my limit. She acted so arrogantly because she believed she was in a higher position, but I wasn't going to stay silent after being humiliated like that. As soon as we got home, I made a phone call. The person I called was my employee at my company. "Hello? Cancel that plan we discussed." I had wanted to get along with the woman my son chose, but Michelle was the one who picked a fight first. "I won't hold back from now on," I muttered quietly to myself. 2 hours later, while I was at home, the doorbell rang unexpectedly. When I opened the door, a man stood there with a grim-looking Michelle beside him. I recognized the man. He was Michelle's father, Rick. I deeply apologize for my daughter's behavior. "Come on, you fool, apologize." Rick, with a pale face, grabbed Michelle's head and forced her to apologize. "Why should I apologize to them?" Michelle screamed hysterically. It seemed she didn't understand why she was brought here. "You may not know, but Kim is a major business partner of our company." "No way. That small-town factory? And she was doing janitorial work." "Yes, I do clean there. It's part of my daily routine. But as your father said, I am indeed the president of one of your father's company's major business partners. I hadn't mentioned it to you. Is that true?" If I'd known, John hates benefiting from his parents' achievements. He always said his parents' success had nothing to do with him. That's why he didn't join our company and started working elsewhere. That's probably why he didn't tell you much about us. If the current business deal falls apart, it would significantly impact their revenue. But why would the president of such a large company do janitorial work? That factory is my roots, inherited from my parents, so I make it a point to clean it myself daily. After cleaning, I head to the main office. I regularly visit the site. I continued the chores to ensure the employees could work comfortably. "Rick, I'm sorry, but we'll be terminating our business relationship. It seems your daughter doesn't like me." My words left Rick and Michelle wide-eyed in shock. "Please, I beg you, I'll make her apologize. Please don't cancel the deal." "Let go, Dad. I will not apologize to them." "You're still saying such things?" As the two argued, John appeared there with his child in his arms. "Mom and Dad, I'm sorry for everything. I didn't realize what Michelle was really like. John bowed his head to Robert and me, looking genuinely remorseful. After Michelle told us to leave, I had called John to talk. He had heard everything and was in shock at Michelle's true nature. I really loved you, but now that I know your true colors, I can't stay married to you. John had started noticing something off about Michelle a while after their marriage. He grew suspicious when he saw new furniture and branded items appearing in their home, and noticed Michelle frequently leaving their baby with others and going out. So John secretly hired a detective to investigate Michelle. It turned out that Michelle had been frequenting host clubs even before she married John. Right after giving birth, she would leave her baby with me or John and go out to have fun with men she met at the clubs. The reason she asked me for money was likely that she couldn't fund her nightclub expenses with the money John gave her for living expenses. Was the reason you said you had no money because you were spending it on men you met at the clubs? Wait a minute. Money. I haven't heard anything about that. Michelle told me that John's salary had been cut, and they were struggling, so I've been giving her a substantial amount of money every month. It turns out that was a lie. She had been asking for money, claiming it was because their living expenses were tight, but it turns out she was spending it entirely on nightlife and branded goods for her own selfish desires. John seemed genuinely shocked, hearing this for the first time. I've been giving you enough money for living expenses every month. If that's not enough, what have you been spending it on? Answer me. Enough money? That little bit? Don't make me laugh, you poor thing. That amount doesn't even cover spa treatments or branded goods. Michelle sneered mockingly. I can't take this anymore. I've been deceived all this time. Michelle, is this child really mine? Michelle's expression turned guilty, indicating the truth. It's true. I can't believe this. I trusted you. No, it's a misunderstanding. I was just shocked and couldn't speak. Of course, it's your child. Contrary to her words, Michelle's face showed clear panic. Then you won't mind a DNA test. I can't trust you anymore. We'll have a thorough test done. Michelle fell silent at the mention of a DNA test. Even without seeing the test results, her reaction made it clear the child wasn't John's. Also, Rick, I have something to discuss with you. What is it? It's sad that it has come to this, but it's a good opportunity. I've been planning to start my own business for a while now. What? You can't do that. Please don't, Rick pleaded. But John shook his head. He revealed that he had already talked to his talented colleagues, and they all agreed to join him. You're going to poach my employees? I've given you so many opportunities. Is this how you repay me? I intended to continue working for your company as my wife's father, but I can't forgive someone who betrayed me and attacked my parents, even before the marriage. I can't keep working for you. John had been the top salesperson in the company, holding many valuable clients. If all those clients moved to John's new company, Rick's company would likely collapse. Wait, Dad's company will go bankrupt? Why? Realizing the severity of the situation, Michelle began to panic. John, please reconsider. Without you, our company, your daughter, has been cheating with men she met at clubs since before our marriage. I can't live with someone like that anymore. I don't know any such man. Please believe me. Michelle cried and clung to John, but he pushed her away. Michelle, from now on, you and my family are completely separate. You got your wish when you said you won't recognize poor people as family. That was just a joke. No more excuses. I never want to see your face again. Goodbye. With that, I closed the door, leaving Rick and Michelle still kneeling, but they didn't move, stubbornly staying there. I sighed, thinking how troublesome they were. When I opened the front door again, they looked at me with hopeful expressions. But I had no intention of forgiving them. If you don't leave now, I'll call the police. You should go, especially with your company already in jeopardy. At my words, they quickly stood up and left. 6 months later, Rick's company went bankrupt. The employees who had worked under him were divided between my company and the new company John started. We took custody of the child, and John became a single father, working hard and taking care of the child every day when Michelle and John divorced. She said she didn't want the child because she couldn't raise it. While Robert and I were furious, John volunteered to take the child. When I asked if he was truly ready to raise a child that wasn't his, John replied, "I can't see this child as anything but my own. Even without a mother, I'll raise her well." Hearing his determination, we decided to support him. After that, Michelle was disowned by her father and tried to move into her boyfriend's apartment. However, the host quickly abandoned her, saying he had no use for a poor woman now that her father's company had gone bankrupt. Despite everything she had done, Michelle showed up at our door again. "Please, I apologize for what happened before. Just help me. I have no place to live, and I'm desperate." Michelle bowed deeply, almost scraping her head on the ground. But I felt no sympathy. She was still wearing branded items. Her hair was messier, and her skin looked rougher than before. But she couldn't let go of the pride of being a company president's daughter. If she were truly struggling, she could sell her branded bags and work honestly, living modestly without starving. Instead, she sought help from me, which was just another form of dependence. I was appalled that, even now, she was still trying to rely on others. "Who might you be?" "I'm sorry, I don't remember you." She was nothing but a stranger to me now. She had abandoned her child, and now that she had no money, she was bowing to those she despised. I had no intention of showing mercy to such a cowardly, heartless person. Ignoring the sobbing Michelle, I walked away. I later heard that Michelle had been spoiled as an only child and had led a carefree life, not even working after graduating from college. She got a job at her father's company through connections, but her arrogant personality made her unwelcome. I was tricked by that old woman. Now I'm penniless because of her. After I refused to help her, Michelle reportedly vented her misplaced anger to those around her. Afterward, she tried to find a job on her own and applied to several companies, but her arrogant and haughty personality caused her to be rejected at every interview. Reluctantly, she ended up working as a cleaner for a company she once looked down on to earn a living. Never having done real work before, she faced harsh treatment from her colleagues. To support herself, she had to work hard, no matter how tough it was. For someone who had always relied on others, this was a good lesson. Perhaps in time, her personality would improve, and she would learn some basic decency. Meanwhile, John's company was steadily growing, expanding its business. The grandchild we took in was growing up well without a mother and would start elementary school next year. John was in a good relationship with an employee from his company and was planning to get married soon. We met his fiancée at an introductory dinner, and she was a straightforward and genuine woman. I was really down after last time, thinking I had no eye for people. "But this time, I'm sure it'll be fine," John said, with an untroubled smile. And as he said, his family life after his remarriage seemed to be going well. Our grandchild had grown very attached to the new mother, and they looked like a real family. I was worried about how things would turn out, but now I could finally relax. Peace had come to our family, and my heart was full of happiness. Hoping this happiness would continue, I changed into my work clothes and headed out to do my daily cleaning routine.